So I'll just put it under record. So we had discussed in the previous class about pyruvic acid formation as an end product of glycolysis or EMP pathway. In today's class, we are going to discuss about anaerobic respiration, which is also called as fermentation. So in anaerobic respiration, there is incomplete oxidation of glucose. Not complete oxidation, it is an incomplete oxidation of glucose under anaerobic condition, that is in absence of oxygen. So whereas in aerobic respiration, there is complete oxidation of glucose. In the anaerobic respiration or fermentation, there is incomplete oxidation of glucose under anaerobic condition, that is in absence of oxygen. So anaerobic respiration occurs both in prokaryotes and unicellular eukaryotes like yeast. So anaerobic respiration occurs in many of the prokaryotes like bacteria. The bacteria can be the lactobacillus bacteria, acetobacter, or it can also take place in unicellular eukaryote like yeast, which belongs to the kingdom fungi and Ascomycetes class Ascomycetes. So this unicellular eukaryote also brings the anaerobic respiration or fermentation. The types of fermentation are alcoholic fermentation and lactic acid fermentation. So you can notice here the backdrop of the slides. So it is a culture media in the lab, microbiology labs. So we have the culture media where we have cultured these anaerobic organisms like yeast, lactic acid bacteria. They're all cultured in the microbiology lab. So yeast is an facultative anaerobe. I told you that yeast in presence of oxygen, they undergo aerobic respiration, and in absence of oxygen, they undergo anaerobic respiration. Whereas lactic acid bacteria is going to be obligate anaerobe. Whether oxygen is present or absent, they undergo anaerobic respiration. So that is the reason lactic acid bacteria is an anaerobic obligate anaerobes, you can call them as. Yeast is also the example for unicellular eukaryote. Lactic acid bacteria like lactobacillus bacteria, they're example for prokaryotes. I even told you that acetobacter, they are involved in the formation of acetic acid. So there is also acetic acid fermentation, which we are not at present discussing about. Okay. So the alcoholic fermentation, what you have to notice is, so you should notice that the alcoholic fermentation, the pyruvic acid that is present in presence of enzyme, the pyruvic acid decarboxylase and alcohol dehydrogenase, they are going to form ethyl alcohol, which is also called as ethanol, and carbon dioxide is liberated. Okay, so this is brought about by yeast. Yeast brings about this process. So yeast is going to poison themselves to death whenever the concentration of alcohol reaches about 13%. So the end product of glycolysis is pyruvic acid. So this pyruvic acid formed from glucose is converted to carbon dioxide and ethanol or ethyl alcohol. The enzymes involved are, so the pyruvic acid decarboxylase and the alcohol dehydrogenase. They catalyze this reaction. They are the catalysts. And in this process, you also find this reduced NADH2 is reoxidized to NAD plus, and there is also formation of two ATPs. Okay, total ATP formed is 4 in case of glycolysis, but 2 ATPs are utilized during this alcohol formation. So 4 minus 2 is the net ATP produced during alcoholic fermentation, or even in case of lactic acid fermentation will be 2 ATPs. That you have to remember. So I had told you about how the wine is prepared in the biotechnology students in a lab. So this is usually the sixth semester or fifth semester. They have this project wherein, so they take up the grape juice they prepare the grape juice under a very hygienic condition, that is sterile environment, means where no microorganisms can enter into this juice. So under the sterile conditions, they prepare this grape juice, and to this they add yeast, and the barrel is the wooden barrel. Usually it is made airtight. The reason that they are adding yeast is yeast can bring about alcoholic fermentation. So yeast, what it does is initially it utilizes the oxygen present within the barrel. So they would be undergoing aerobic respiration, but later the same yeast, it is going to, once the oxygen is exhausted, they become anaerobic organism. Yeast becomes anaerobic organism, and they are going to convert this grape juice into ethyl alcohol, and carbon dioxide is also liberated. In this process, two ATPs are also formed. So this is what is happening in the preparation of wine in a airtight barrels. So the at small levels, this is how the wine is being produced, homemade wines. Okay, so this is about an example for alcoholic fermentation. See, the yeast cannot produce more than 13% alcohol because they poison themselves to death when the concentration of alcohol reaches about 13%. So lactic acid fermentation, here the pyruvic acid is converted to lactic acid, like in case of curd formation also. So the organisms, they undergo the glycolysis where pyruvic acid is formed. The pyruvic acid is converted into lactic acid by the activity of this particular lactate dehydrogenase. Okay, so this you can notice even in uh, animals when oxygen is inadequate during strenuous exercise that we do. So the pyruvic acid in muscle cells will be reduced to lactic acid by the activity of the enzyme lactate dehydrogenase. So lactic acid fermentation is brought about by lactobacillus bacteria. Okay, so the reducing agent NADH plus is reoxidized to NAD plus in both type of fermentation, that is alcoholic fermentation as well as lactic acid fermentation. You can notice that the the reducing agent NADH2 is reoxidized to NAD plus in both type of fermentation. That is one point that you have to remember, dear students. And also even in lactic acid fermentation, two ATPs are going to be liberated. Okay. So the drawbacks or disadvantages of fermentation. So they have limited energy. See, from a single glucose molecule, they are going to produce only 2 ATP. That is, they have extracted 7% of energy from glucose. The hazardous products are formed like lactic acid, ethyl alcohol. So they are all going to be harmful products. Maybe for our own use, we use it economically. The alcohol, even though it is hazardous, it is consumed in a large extent. So, but hazardous products are formed as a byproduct of fermentation. So the drawbacks of fermentation are energy production is limited. So there is limited energy that is produced during this fermentation or anaerobic respiration. Less than 7% of the energy in glucose is released during anaerobic fermentation. So remaining 93% is not extracted from glucose, and not all of it is trapped as high energy bonds of ATP. So they are not trapped as high energy bonds of ATP. The hazardous products that are produced due to fermentation are lactic acid or acetic acid or ethyl alcohol. They are formed, which are hazardous products. So these are the drawbacks of fermentation. The next part that we will be discussing about is aerobic respiration. And here you can see the beautiful picture of this mitochondria. The outermost membrane and inner membrane has a finger-like foldings, which we call it as cristae. Within this, finger-like foldings, you can notice this matrix. So the next step of aerobic respiration after the formation of pyruvic acid, they enter into this Krebs cycle, or they also call it as the citric acid cycle, or it is also called as the TCA cycle. So uh, Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle. So that is what we are going to study about. So the Krebs cycle takes place within the matrix of mitochondria, but the electron transport system or the electron transport chain, they take place in the inner membrane of this cristae, where they have this minute particles called as Racker's particles or F1. So we'll be discussing about that in detail. I'm just giving you a brief preview of what exactly happens. In the matrix, there would be the citric acid cycle takes place, or we also call it as Krebs cycle. And in the fingers of this finger-like structures of this inner mitochondria, that is cristae, they have Racker's particles or F1 particles, we call them as. In this Racker's particles, they undergo this electron transport system. So wherein the energy-rich molecules like NADH2, FADH2, they are oxidized to form ATPs. So NADH2 is oxidized to form 3 ATP, energy rich molecule. So one NADH2 is equivalent to 3 ATP, and one FADH2 is equivalent to 2 ATP. So these energy rich molecules are oxidized and ATPs are formed. Okay, our body can recognize the energy only in the form of ATP. That is the one thing that you should all be aware about. So that is the reason we also call ATP as the energy currency of the cell. Not only plants, even in animals and microorganisms, energy can be reduced only in the form of adenosine triphosphate. Okay, that is ATP. So what you have to notice in this aerobic respiration is it is a complete oxidation of organic substances in the presence of oxygen. See, anaerobic was incomplete oxidation of glucose in absence of oxygen, whereas aerobic respiration is complete oxidation of organic substances in the presence of oxygen, releasing carbon dioxide, water, and energy. The total energy formed is 36 ATP. Okay, there is heat energy is also liberated that we are not talking about here. So that is our known fact. So in the presence of oxygen, there is a complete oxidation of organic substances, releasing carbon dioxide, water, and 36 ATP molecules. So where does this aerobic respiration take place? It takes place within mitochondria. Glycolysis took place in the cytoplasm. From the cytoplasm, this pyruvic acid has to enter into the uh, mitochondria. So for that, 2 ATP is spent. 2 ATP is spent, and the pyruvic acid is transferred to the mitochondria. Within the matrix, they undergo Krebs cycle. So the Krebs cycle, there are energy-rich molecules that are formed like NADH2, FADH2, they are all formed. So this energy-rich molecules are going to be oxidized in the electron transport system, ETS or ETC, they also call it as electron transport chain, or this is also called as terminal oxidation because it is taking at the final stage. So we also call it as terminal oxidation. And since there is synthesis of ATP during this process, this electron transport system is also called as oxidative phosphorylation. It is not photophosphorylation, it is oxidative phosphorylation. And during this process, oxygen is utilized, oxidation takes place, and finally, we are going to get the ATP molecules and water is also liberated. So this is how the entire step is going to take place. We are going to study step by step. First, we will be studying Krebs cycle, then we'll be studying the electron transport system or terminal oxidation, or you can also call it as oxidative phosphorylation. Okay, so the aerobic respiration is complete oxidation of organic substances in the presence of oxygen to form carbon dioxide, water, and energy is release, that is 36 ATP. It takes place within mitochondria. For this, the pyruvate or final product of glycolysis is transported from cytoplasm into mitochondria. See, the crucial events of aerobic respiration are complete oxidation of pyruvate by stepwise removal of all the hydrogen atoms, leaving three carbon dioxide molecules. It takes place in the matrix of mitochondria. So the complete oxidation of pyruvic acid by stepwise removal of all the hydrogen atoms, leaving only the three carbon and releasing three carbon dioxide molecules. It takes place in the matrix of mitochondria. So it is taking place, that is the Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle. The second step is passing on of electrons removed as part of hydrogen atoms during this Krebs cycle. So that is passing on of electrons removed as part of hydrogen atoms to molecular oxygen with simultaneous synthesis of ATP. It occurs in the inner membrane of the mitochondria or the cristae of the mitochondria. So where they have this Rackers particle that we'll be discussing about. That is the second step is electron transport system. So complete oxidation of pyruvate takes place in the matrix of mitochondria during Krebs cycle. The passing of electrons on inner membrane of mitochondria, synthesizing ATP. So that takes place during this electron transport system. So the complete oxidation of pyruvate molecules and passing of electrons which are removed as part of hydrogen atoms to molecular oxygen, passing on of electrons to molecular oxygen, which are removed as part of hydrogen atoms with simultaneous synthesis of ATP that takes place in the inner membrane of mitochondria. So these are the two crucial steps that are taking place after glycolysis in aerobic respiration. Krebs cycle, electron transport chain or electron transport system. So where there is passing of electrons on the inner membrane of mitochondria. So let us discuss about this oxidative decarboxylation that is taking place. Okay, so the pyruvic acid, so let us read the reaction and then we'll study it in the sentences. So pyruvic acid from cytoplasm, it is transferred to the mitochondria. So pyruvic acid combines with coenzyme A and NAD plus. So the oxidized NAD plus in presence of magnesium ions and pyruvate. Okay, so they are the pyruvate dehydrogenase enzyme. They are going to combine, and we are going to get acetyl coenzyme A. Carbon dioxide is liberated. So pyruvic acid, which was three carbon atom, they have become the so two carbon atom they have become, and there is liberation of carbon dioxide and reduced NADH2 is produced. So one NADH2 is produced here, which during electron transport chain, this reduced NADH2 liberates 3 ATP. Okay, NADH2 is a energy rich molecule. So there is one liberation of carbon dioxide that happens during conversion of pyruvic acid to acetyl coenzyme A. So we call this process as oxidative decarboxylation. So pyruvate or pyruvic acid enters the mitochondrial matrix and undergoes oxidative decarboxylation. So the pyruvic acid is undergoing oxidative decarboxylation in presence of the enzyme pyruvic dehydrogenase. It requires coenzymes. What are the coenzymes that they require? NAD plus and coenzyme A. So the pyruvic acid undergoes oxidative decarboxylation. So in presence of pyruvate dehydrogenase, and they are going to form acetyl coenzyme A. Carbon dioxide is released and NADH2 is synthesized. Energy rich molecule NADH2 is synthesized. This happens in presence of enzyme pyruvate dehydrogenase and magnesium ion Mg2 plus. Okay, so it the for this pyruvate oxidative decarboxylation to take place, they require coenzymes such as NAD plus and coenzyme A. During this process, two NADH molecules are produced from two molecules of pyruvic acid. You should remember that during glycolysis, two pyruvic acid molecules are formed, two ATPs are synthesized, and sorry, there is uh, two ATPs are synthesized and two NADH2s are synthesized. So the acetyl coenzyme A then enters tricarboxylic acid cycle, TCA cycle, or we also call it as the citric acid cycle or Krebs cycle. So the acetyl coenzyme A, then they enter tricarboxylic acid or TCA cycle, or we also call it as Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle. So the TCA cycle or tricarboxylic acid cycle or Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle. See, these are all the different names. So if they might ask you during uh, examination, indirect question like, see the oxidative decarboxylized, the pyruvic acid after oxidative decarboxylation, describe the steps that takes place. So they are asking you about Krebs cycle. So write the schematic representation of the after the oxidative decarboxylation of pyruvic acid. So they can ask you write the schematic representation after the oxidative decarboxylation of pyruvic acid. So that is the acetyl coenzyme A. They enter into Krebs cycle or TCA cycle, tricarboxylic acid cycle, or it is also called as citric acid cycle. So that you should write. Okay, they are all indirect way of asking the question. So only thing is you should be thorough with the other names of it. So Krebs cycle is also called as citric acid cycle, or they are also called as tricarboxylic acid cycle. So this was first put forth by Hans Krebs. Okay, Krebs cycle, TCA cycle, don't get confused with C3 cycle. That is just three carbon atoms are here. Tricarboxylic acid, that is COOH, they have three of them. That is why we call it as tricarboxylic acid cycle or Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle. It was first put forth by the scientist Hans Krebs. So even he has drawn this process and shown it to you. So Hans Krebs first elicited this process. Okay, so it is very easy. Don't get too much confused about it. I'll give you a scheme mnemonics to remember it. Okay, I'll just type it in your chat box. The mnemonics is P A C pack K S M O. You remember this pack KSMO. So the much more detailed cycle is there. Here they have skipped some intermediate stages. I'll just tell you what are those stages. So pyruvic acid, P stands for pyruvic acid, formation of acetyl coenzyme A, C stands for citric acid, then KSOMO, alpha ketoglutaric acid, that is what K represents, succinic acid, malic acid, oxaloacetic acid. So this is how you can remember the entire cycle using this mnemonics. So pyruvic acid, acetyl coenzyme A, citric acid, then there was KSMO, that is alpha ketoglutaric acid, succinic acid, malic acid, oxaloacetic acid. This is a simplified cycle, but the elongated cycle is, I'll be telling you about it. PAC IOKS square FMO. Pyruvic acid, acetyl coenzyme A, citric acid. I stands for iso citric acid. Then uh, oxalosuccinic acid, then alpha ketoglutarate acid, succinyl coenzyme A, succinic acid, fumaric acid, malic acid, oxaloacetic acid. That is the elaborate cycle. So you can see even here, so that he has written. Okay, PAC, IOKA square, FMO. That is what is the detailed cycle. But for your PU, they have just restricted this cycle to a simplified cycle. So most of them are fast forward reactions. In between reactions, they have not shown. Okay, so you can remember here by a easy steps they are PAC, KSMO. So what is PAC? Pyruvic acid, acetyl coenzyme A. C stands for citric acid. Then KSMO is there, alpha ketoglutarate acid. S stands for succinic acid. M stands for malic acid. O stands for oxaloacetic acid, which gets involved in another cycle. So the very easy way of remembering this steps in case of this entire Krebs cycle. So PAC, pyruvic acid and acetyl coenzyme, they are outside the cycle. Citric acid, then alpha ketoglutarate acid, succinic acid, malic acid, oxaloacetic acid. That is what are the steps involved in the cycle. Two steps are outside the cycle, that is pyruvic acid and acetyl coenzyme A. From citric acid, they are all within the cycle. So it's very easy to remember. Once you write this, the other things are all quite easy to write. Okay, so this is the mnemonics that you have to remember about PAC, pyruvic acid, acetyl coenzyme A. C stands for citric acid. The KSMO, ketoglutaric acid, succinic acid. M stands for malic acid, O for oxaloacetic acid, which is again utilized for the next cycle. Okay, this complete cycle we call it as tricarboxylic acid cycle or Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle. It was for the first time put forth by the scientist, biologist Hans Krebs. Okay, so what are the steps in the Krebs cycle? Condensation of acetyl group with uh, oxaloacetic acid. So we have already discussed about uh, the oxidative decarboxylation of pyruvic acid to acetyl coenzyme A. We have already discussed that step, isn't it? Oxidative decarboxylation, which is taking place outside the Krebs cycle. So there is a formation of acetyl coenzyme A. So the acetyl coenzyme A, pyruvic acid, they had 3 carbon, but there is a liberation of carbon dioxide during oxidative carboxylation. Then there is also synthesis of NADH2 that is happening. Okay, so this took place in pyruvate dehydrogenase. They are going to form this acetyl coenzyme A. So now this acetyl coenzyme A combines with oxaloacetic acid. So the acetyl group and oxaloacetic acid from the previous cycle, they are going to combine. And so the condensation of acetyl group with oxaloacetic acid and water, a molecule of water, they are going to form. See, oxaloacetic is at 4 carbon, acetyl coenzyme A is 2 carbon. Okay, so they are going to form a 6 carbon compound, citric acid, and that happens in presence of citrate synthase enzyme. So a co-oxygen, a coenzyme A molecule is released from the acetyl coenzyme A. Coenzyme A is released. Okay, the oxaloacetic acid plus a molecule of water and acetyl coenzyme A, they are going to combine in presence of citrate synthesase to form citric acid, and during this process coenzyme A is released. The citrate is isomerized to isocitrate. That step they have not shown it, but I had told it already. PAC IOK square, isocitric acid. Okay, so that is not there, that is not shown, but anyway, remember the citric acid is or citrate is isomerized to isocitrate. Okay, isomerized means they are going to form they have the same molecular formula, but structurally they are different. So in presence of an isomerase enzyme, citrate is isomerized to isocitrate. Now decarboxylation of isocitrate, that is carbon dioxide, is released. So in the Krebs cycle, the carbon dioxide is going to be released. Earlier to that, in pyruvic acid, there is no liberation of carbon dioxide. So isocitrate is going to be decarboxylation of isocitrate takes place. So they are going to lose carbon dioxide. So from 6 carbon, they become 5 carbon by the loss of this carbon dioxide. And they are going to form alpha keto glutaric acid. And also simultaneously, you should notice that there is a synthesis of NADH2. So hydrogen is also released, and that hydrogen is utilized by NAD players to synthesize NADH2. So citrate is isomerized to isocitrate. Isocitrate, they undergo decarboxylation to form alpha keto glutaric acid, which is a 5 carbon. Now, this alpha ketoglutarate acid, they undergo decarboxylation to form uh, succinyl coenzyme A. Succinyl coenzyme A, that step is also skipped. But in what I had given PAC IOKA square FMO, there is also the succinyl coenzyme A. Only then there is a formation of succinic acid. So the decarboxylation of alpha ketoglutarate acid to succinyl coenzyme A takes place. So there is a liberation of carbon dioxide from alpha ketoglutarate acid. From 5 carbon, they become 4 carbon. And there is also synthesis of NADH2 here. You can notice that there is a synthesis of NADH2. Then there is also synthesis of GTP. Can anyone tell me what is GTP? What is GTP? See, GTP is nothing but guanosine triphosphate. Just like adenosine triphosphate, GTP is nothing but guanosine triphosphate. One GTP equals one ATP. Okay, so it is just another form of ATP, that is GTP, guanosine triphosphate. So there is a synthesis of NADH2. Again, carbon dioxide is released to form succinyl coenzyme A. This succinyl coenzyme A is converted to succinic acid, and a GTP molecule is synthesized. That is guanosine triphosphate molecule is synthesized. So this we call it as substrate level phosphorylation. In a coupled reaction, GTP is converted to GDP with simultaneous synthesis of ATP from ADP. So this is happening together. GTP is synthesized and GTP is converted to GDP with simultaneous synthesis of ATP from ADP. So this coupled reaction takes place. From GTP, the phosphate enters into ADP and they are going to form ATP. Now the oxidation of succinic acid, okay, that takes place to form fumaric acid. That step is skipped, okay. So oxidation of succinic acid to form fumarate and then to malic acid. So the oxidation of malic acid to oxaloacetic acid, it takes place. All of them are 4 carbon. And during this process, oxidation of succinic acid to fumarate and then to malate, there is a synthesis of FADH2. FADH2 is an energy rich molecule. They are equivalent to 2 ATP. When they enter the electron transport chain, they are oxidized to liberate 2 ATPs. Okay, so the oxidation of malate, so there is a again a synthesis of NADH2. So oxidation of malate or malic acid to oxaloacetate or oxaloacetic acid, which is 4 carbon, takes place. And this oxaloacetic acid, they get involved in another cycle. So overall, if you count here, there is 3 carbon dioxide released, one, two, and one when they were forming this pyruvate 2 acetyl coenzyme A. Overall, how many NADH2s are formed? In Krebs cycle, NADH2s formed are 3. Okay, one FADH2 is formed, one GTP is formed, and 2 carbon dioxide is released. But if you take from pyruvate, so there would be 4 NADH2. There is one more NADH2 here. 4 NADH2, one FADH2, one GTP. That is what it is synthesized. If you take even the oxidative decarboxylation process, that is pyruvic acid is converted into acetyl coenzyme A, and this only this acetyl coenzyme A can take place in the reaction to form citric acid. So the TCA cycle or Krebs cycle, so at 3 points of TCA cycle, NDA plus is synthesized. So here they have marked it. At one point, FAD is reduced to FADH2. Continued oxidation of acetyl coenzyme A via tricarboxylic acid cycle requires continuous replenishment of oxalic acetic acid. It also requires regeneration of NAD plus and FAD plus from NADH and FADH2. So that continued oxidation of acetyl coenzyme A via this Krebs cycle requires the continuous replenishment or regeneration of oxaloacetic acid. So this continued oxidation also requires a regeneration of NAD plus and FAD plus from NADH and FADH2. That is why they enter into this electron transport system. So the summary equation of Krebs cycle. So pyruvic acid plus 4 NAD plus, so that is 4. Outside there is one NADH2 synthesized, 4 NAD plus 2 H2O plus ADP plus here it has to be FAD plus also should be added up plus FAD plus. So mitochondrial matrix it takes place. 3 carbon dioxide is produced plus 4 NADH2 plus FADH2 plus ATP. So this is for one cycle. But the total oxidation of glucose, it they have synthesized 2 pyruvic acid molecule. For one pyruvic acid molecule, this is the products. For 2 pyruvic acid molecule, you have to multiply. It would be 6 carbon dioxide plus 8 NADH2 plus 2 FADH2 plus 2 ATP. So thus a glucose is broken down to give 6 carbon dioxide, 8 NADH2, 2 FADH2 and 2 ATP. So Krebs cycle in detail, this is the detailed part of it, okay, but much more elaborate. The steps you can understand it better. So pyruvic, I give you for this pack IOKS square FMO. That will be the complete part of it. Okay. In the steps of it, they have described what I have given. But when you are writing the schematic representation in the examination, this is sufficient. For 5 marks, they ask you the schematic representation of Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle or tricarboxylic acid cycle. Many times they have asked the schematic representation. This carries 5 marks. Okay, so the steps they never ask it, but if you want to know from the knowledge point of view and from a NEET point of view, this detailed cycle is better. Okay, this is for your examination, board examination, CBSE or PU board examination. This is what your NCERT book gives. This diagram you have to draw. So I'll, for the detailed description which they have given even in the steps, I'll just type you for you the formula. Okay, it should be PAC square, IOKS square, FMO. So this is for a detailed description for steps of it. Pyruvic acid, acetyl coenzyme A, citric acid, cis-aconitic acid, isocitric acid, oxalosuccinyl, succinic acid, ketoglutaric acid, succinyl coenzyme A, succinic acid, fumaric acid, malic acid, oxaloacetic acid. This is what even the step description goes into detail, but your schematic representation, they have only PAC KSMO. So this is required uh, for you to write this schematic representation in your examination. PAC KSMO is sufficient. But for understanding the details of it, this detailed cycle is required. That is PAC IOK square FMO. See here the whatever I have typed pyruvic acid, PAC acetyl coenzyme A, citric acid, PAC I had said PAC square, cis-aconitic acid, then IOKA square I told you, isocitric acid, oxalosuccinic acid there should have been, that O is missing, ketoglutaric acid, succinyl coenzyme A, IKA square, succinyl coenzyme A, succinate, and there is a formation of FMO, that is fumarate, malate, and there is a oxaloacetic acid regenerated. So, but they have skipped this cycle in your schematic representation, but in the steps they have described for this detail, they have described in the steps. But when it comes to the cycle, they have steps, they have skipped some of the steps in between. Doesn't matter during examination, maybe even questions, diagram oriented questions, they will be asking with the schematic representation itself. Be thorough with this. This is much more simple. PAC KSMO, pyruvic acid, acetyl coenzyme A, citric acid, K stands for ketoglutaric acid, SMO, succinic acid, malic acid, oxaloacetic acid. So that is how the overall cycle is. Simpler one, citric acid cycle or tricarboxylic acid cycle or Krebs cycle, which is taking place in the matrix of mitochondria. What have you obtained in the Krebs cycle? See, the two molecules of pyruvic acid, they undergo two Krebs cycle totally. Okay. So for a single glucose molecule will undergo how many Krebs cycle? Two Krebs cycle, because they are going to synthesize in glycolysis two pyruvic acid molecules. And there is going to be six carbon dioxide is going to be released. The end product that we have obtained here is six carbon dioxide molecules are released, water is synthesized, and there is a synthesis of NADH2. NADH2 is 8 NADH2 is synthesized, 2 FADH2 is synthesized, and 2 ATP are synthesized. So this glucose is broken down after entering two Krebs cycle. They are broken down into six carbon dioxide, 8 NADH2, and 2 FADH2 and 2 ATP. These are the end products that you have obtained. So this NADH2 and FADH2 are energy rich molecules. Our body cannot, or the plant's body cannot recognize this energy rich molecule directly. So they have to be converted to, or they have to be oxidized to ATP. And that takes place in the inner membrane of mitochondria, where they have this electron transport system or terminal oxidation, we also call it as. Okay. So it takes place at that region. So any doubts you have, students, with this particular topic? Do you have any doubts here?